Well, thank everybody for, this is Brad Penley with Paya, and I want to thank everybody for joining the Paya customer webinar here. I want to thank Shane and NewGen Business Solutions for inviting us to speak and provide you with a little bit of knowledge on exactly what Paya does and why NewGen has selected to utilize us as a preferred partner.
Yes, thanks a lot, Brad. Yeah, sorry, I had a technical issue there. But yeah, we're very excited for Brad's team today to show us what the Paya solution can offer all of us Stage 100 users. So very excited about that. We are going to be recording this session, so we will send you the recording in its entirety at the conclusion of this. And then we'll have a few minutes at the end if we want to open it up to Q&A. Then if there's any questions after that time, feel free to directly reach out to myself. So with that said, I will turn it over to Brad's group that can kick off the presentation.
All right, thank you very much. Once again, my name is Brad Penley. I'm the partner account manager for NewGen, and I'm an account manager with Paya for the ERP channel. First question that is always asked and people want to know about is, who is Paya? Paya is, we were formerly Sage Payment Solutions. We actually became Sage Payment Solutions back in 2006. We were purchased by them, and then in 2017 we divested from them. We're bought by a private equity firm out of Chicago and became Paya. I wanted to kind of go through a little bit of history of Paya, formerly Sage Payment Solutions, to let you know that we are not new to the payments processing market at all. We've actually been in business for over 25 years serving the small and medium-sized business market. We are a top 25 payments processor, and actually back in year ending 2018, we were number 19 in total dollars processed. That total amount of dollars processed annually is 27 billion currently and climbing. Our software platforms and our integrations, we have over 300 of those. Today we'll specifically be talking about the ERP integration into the Sage 100 software. We do have customers that we have on a North American level between the United States and Canada is over 1 million. We actually have, in the North America, our operations are headquartered in Reston, Virginia, with 2 other locations in Atlanta, Georgia, and Fort Walton Beach, and spread across those 3 campuses and some remote employees as well. We have right around 300 employees nationally. We have been able to, we have diversified partnerships and relationships that we've been able to do to contribute to that $27 billion processed annually and over 1 million customers. Those are across 4 different business areas. One is the ERP, the enterprise resource planning softwares, the ISVs, which are your independent software vendors, the resellers like NewGen, who deal with the publisher and Sage and then resells their software, and then developers as well. One of the key areas that we offer here at Paya is our proprietary processing technology. That's for credit card, check, ACH, and gift and loyalty services. And another differentiator for us compared to some of our competitors, and one of the reasons why NewGen did decide to partner with us, is our operations is full service. Everything is in-house, from risk management to underwriting to our onboarding experience and to our technical, financial, and all different area support, which is a 24/7 operation that we have. Let's get into some of the advantages of integrating our payments in general. One, it simplifies your back office. All points and types of payments post automatically into the software. It eliminates the manual entry and the opportunity for human error. One is accelerate, and the second one is accelerate your time to cash. It increases cash flow by accepting the credit cards, debit cards, ACH, and checks. Once those transactions are processed, captured, then they will be in your bank within 1 to 2 business days. From a mindset standpoint, you can run your business with more confidence. You're eliminating that human error and consolidating your payments types. It can help you with cash forecasts, plus it can give you real-time reports. And security is such a big issue these days, so one of the things that can give you peace of mind as well is all the data is stored in our secure and Paya secure payment card industry compliant payment vault. This prevents any kind of data breaches, and it protects all sensitive data from your customers. That sensitive data being payment data, personal data, and everything that has to do with them and their profile. Integrated solutions that we do have, those are all of them. The direct integrations that we have there are on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, you'll see our developer portal. The number one priority, we have direct integrations to all of these Sage solutions, which is really what we offer today. And we also have an entire developers portal that you can see on the right-hand side that is available and enables hundreds of integrations using our open-ended APIs. Within Sage 100 specifically, you can process credit and ACH right within the software. We also have EMV capability, so if you have any credit, if you have any card present business, we have hardware that connects with Sage 100 that allows chip processing. We also offer several add-on solutions to help increase your sales. A second ago, I spoke about the processing ACH within the software, but we also offer a host of solutions externally for check processing. If you have an e-commerce platform or even a retail setup, we offer point of sale conversion, Check 21, checks by web, and checks by phone. These solutions help eliminate additional banking fees, and we have several check verification levels to help reduce bad checks. Another program is our gift and loyalty cards. Gift and loyalty cards are actually making a big comeback. Our team in Fort Walton Beach can work with you to design your own loyalty program, or we have a preset programs you can pick from. You also have the ability to design your own gift cards or choose pre-designed options as well. This solution has a separate gateway that has tracking and reporting capabilities all included within our bundle offerings. Paya Mobile Payments. We have a mobile solution here that's available if you have any colleagues out in the field or have shows or conferences where it would be convenient to take payments on a mobile device or tablet. This solution works on both iOS and Android devices. Our mobile readers are equipped to handle EMV, which again is reading the chip on credit cards, as well as NFC, which is compatible with Apple and Android Pay. The card readers connect via Bluetooth. The app also gives you inventory management tracking capabilities. Now I wanted to introduce the dedicated Paya partner team. I encourage you, the colleagues that I have here, Jen and Christina, all work within the ERP space exclusively, and all of us are able to help our partners and their customers on a daily basis. What does this mean for you? It just means that there's a dedicated team to make communication more streamlined and offers more than one point of contact at any point in time. All of the solutions discussed here, whether it be processing within a Sage software, ACH, gift loyalty, or mobile payments, can be answered and assisted by any of these team members. I encourage you to ask as many questions as possible, as Shane had mentioned. But before that, we'd love to do a demo with our Sage 100 solution so you can now see how the integration actually works. Again, after the demo, we'll be sure to leave enough time for Q&A. And now with that being said, I hand over the presentation to Leon Harris, who is our product sales consultant, and he's based in our Atlanta, Georgia office. Leon, this is yours, and you can go ahead and begin the demo.
Fantastic. Brad, thank you very much for that. Excuse me. Welcome everyone for in joining today's call. Again, I am Leon Harris, the product sales consultant here at Paya, and I have the pleasure of walking you through the demo of our integration with Sage 100 ERP and us here at Paya. As we go along, there's quite a few things that we can take a look at today, but we're going to really focus on some of the high-level items here, some of the key items that we feel amongst many of the other features and benefits that we offer that are key and essential to your business and the success and the health of your business. So one of the things that we'll take a look at here, again, we'll look at the sales order entry module, how that native integration, how that seamless integration that we offer, how that works and how that benefits the business owner. And again, that's going to operate within the sales order module, as well as the cash receipts module and the AR module. So we'll take a look at each one of these and we'll look at some examples, we'll look at some of the details. And as Brad mentioned, at the end of the presentation, there definitely will be time for questions. So without further ado, let's jump into the demonstration here so that we can uncover some of these benefits and features here. One of the first things that I like to kind of draw attention to is the fact our solution here that we offer, not only again that it's a seamless integration, but it's a secure integration. This is a PCI compliant environment that we operate within. So once we have your account structure, we're going to actually go into one of our accounts here, and we're going to take a look at how we can store customers' card information or ACH information in our vault, in our Paya vault. Okay, again, it's a secured environment, so that this information is not stored locally there on a workstation. It's behind our firewalls. And you do have the luxury of storing as many cards as necessary for your customers. So in this case here, we'll go into our AR module, we'll pull up a customer maintenance, and we'll find one of our customers. In this case, we'll go to Hillsborough, and then we'll go over to our second tab. And if we look here to our bottom right corner here, we can see the primary payment information. In this case here, I have a specific card here on file. I can see the last 4 digits of the card number and the expiration date. Again, this information is tokenized, it's encrypted information, so the sensitive card data is not being exposed, nor is it being passed back and forth. It's kept behind our firewalls. Now, in this case here, I'm using Tracy's card. Maybe we don't want to use her card moving forward, so if we click our magnifying glass, you now have the option of using any of the other cards here. And as you can see at the very top 2 lines here, we also have the ability to record ACH payments. So as we go through the demonstration, and I mentioned processing, just please keep in mind that the processing piece applies for both credit, debit card transactions, as well as ACH transactions. But as you can see here, we have the ability to record an ID, a payment ID, or a nickname, if you would, to that specific type of payment so that it's easy to recognize as you process your payments. Again, you have the type of payment, the type of card, the account type, and again, the last 4 digits of the card number. So again, making it easy for you to go in and to process payments. But if you do have one of those customers that has maybe a specific payment method or preferred card for the front desk, maybe the back office uses a different card, and the accounting department uses a different card, you have the ability to separate those cards and store those here so that you can use those for future uses. So again, nice and neatly tucked away within the system, again, making it so that you do not have to jump from system to system to process a payment. It's all tucked away right here within Sage 100. With that being said, let's close out of here. Let's take a look at processing a payment here within the sales order module. It's a very common practice. Quite a few of our customers like to use this method here. So we'll walk through the steps, and again, giving you the full experience of what that integration what it looks like and what it feels like. So again, sales order module here, we'll go to sales order entry. Excuse me. We'll go ahead and generate a new order number. We'll then pull in a new customer. We'll go to our lines tab. Let's add an item here. In this case, I think let's do a motherboard today. We're going to order one of these guys here, and let's put a price tag on this one, $9.99. How about that? And then we'll go over to our totals tab. Once we get here, we can add freight, shipping weight, or freight amount here if we know that at this time. In this case, we don't know that, so we'll bypass that. And we'll just confirm the deposit payment type, and we'll select credit card. That'll pull us over to our 5th tab. And once we get here, there's some things here that I want to kind of call your attention to before we move off this page. So for this particular customer, we had Tracy's card listed as the preferred card. So that information is brought up here for us. So it's nice and handy. Again, last 4 of the card number, expiration date. We also have the billing information is brought in here as well for this particular payment. So all this information is very handy. It's pulled directly in from what's stored with the customer's record within Sage 100. If we move over to the right side of the screen here, we'll check our box to pay the balance, and we can see the $9.99 has been brought in for us. If everything looks good, we'll go ahead and submit card. Once we hit submit card here, let's actually, you know what, let's do this. Let's not use Tracy's card. We're going to actually clear in this case here, but we will use an actual credit card to process this payment. So in this case, because we can see a stored card, we'll use a new card here for the first go around. So you can see the card type. That information is left blank. There's no data here because again, we've cleared this information. And what we'll do here is we'll list this as a new card. We can type that in. And we'll be prompted with this question here because the system is intuitive enough to realize that this is a new card. Do we want to save this for future reference? In this case, I'll say no, but if I wanted to save this card, I could. So we'll say no at that point. We'll check our box. And then we'll go ahead and submit payment. Once we submit payment here, a couple of things. Upper left-hand corner. So we have an indicator here. So you'll see Sage Exchange here in the upper left-hand corner in authorization. Now this window is going to pop up quite a few times and it'll look pretty familiar, but it's always good practice to look up here in the upper left-hand corner to verify what type of transaction we're actually processing here. So in this case, this is an authorization. If we were storing a card, this would read vault. If we were processing an actual sale at this time, it would read sale. So it's a pretty good indicator just in case you kind of get distracted and you come back and you're not certain as to what screen you've collected or that you've selected, you can always go back here, upper left-hand corner, as a reference marker there for you. But you can see here we have the reference number, so the sales order number is brought in for us. And in this case here, we need to enter a card number. So again, because this is a brand new card, we'll enter a card number here. And we'll select the expiration date. And we'll enter our 3-digit security code from the back of the card. And again, the dollar amount is brought in for us. We'll hit next. And as you can see, the billing information is brought in for us automatically. If we hit submit, the system here is intuitive enough again because we have our matrix set up on the back end to confirm from a security standpoint the security information associated with the card. So it's going to go ahead and verify the shipping address. The AVS, which is the address verification service. It'll verify that information for you, as well as the CVV, which is the card verification value. So you have your fraud alerts here just to let you know, and you have the flexibility of changing those within the risk control modules. But this is going to let you know at the time of processing your transaction if this information matches or not. In this case, I know this is a test environment here, so that's fine. We'll ignore that and we'll proceed. And we can see here that this card has been authorized. Now we also have our transaction ID number. We have our date and time of the transaction, as well as a 6-digit authorization code. So at this point here, we've successfully authorized this payment. So we've held those funds on the customer's card. So we haven't actually charged the card, but we've just authorized the payment here for $9.99. And at this point here, if we're done, we can go ahead and click accept. And now we're ready to move on with the next transaction. Now, if we fast forward, let's say maybe we are 2 or 3 days down the line, and now we're ready to ship this order to the customer, and now we want to convert that authorization to a capture transaction. We'll simply come back in, again, staying within the sales order module. We'll go into invoice data entry. We'll give that a second to pop up here. We'll generate a new invoice number. We'll select our customer. Now, if you recall the invoice number, you can go ahead and enter that that information, or the customer PO, and you can enter that information here, or you can just simply use your lookup tool here. So I'll click the magnifying glass here and cheat a little bit, and I'll select the last option here, which is this guy. We'll go to our third tab. And once we select our third tab, we'll have a prompt here for us. And it's going to ask us if we want to ship the complete sales order. In this case, we'll say yes. So we can see here the motherboard that we initially ordered. We ordered one, we're going to ship one. And there's the price, $9.99. We'll go to our totals tab. Now in this case, excuse me, we realize that shipping, we now have our shipping amount, and we need to add that to this transaction. So you have the flexibility of coming in to your totals tab, freight amount, and let's add $10 to that. And as you can see, the net amount has been updated to $19.99. We'll go to our fifth tab here, which is payments. Everything here is correct. Our amounts have been updated properly. We'll hit accept. And we're now ready to accept the next transaction. Now, once we get to the end of our business day, our work day, we can go in and we'll update the customer's record. So at this point, we've charged the customer's card. So we initially had the sales order. We've processed that for $9.99. When it was time to go in and actually charge the card to capture that transaction, we went back in and added the freight, making that payment $19.99. Now, in order for us to go in and close out our system, we'll simply go into our daily sales report. And this way we can update our GL, update the customer's record with this payment information, the transaction information, just to make sure that, again, that our systems are completely in sync with what's going on with transactions. So for demo purposes, I'll change my dates here. And I'm going to tell it to print here, but I'm going to, again, it's a demo environment here, so that's fine. It's going to give us an opportunity to print some items here, but we'll save a few trees here, so we're not going to print these items out. We'll cancel those. But we will receive the prompts here. Do we want to print a gross profit journal? No, we're not going to print that. We'll get another prompt here. We'll save a couple of more trees. This is the guy that we're looking for here, giving us the opportunity to update the daily sales order, sales journal. And that, yes, we would like to update with the transaction that we've processed. Again, you do have the capability of printing the daily transaction register if you like. In this case, we'll say no. But once you've completed those steps, you would have successfully processed your transactions here within the customer's account. Now, what we've done here, because of the seamless integration, we've been able to go into Sage 100 ERP and process a sales order, authorize the payment, and then capture the payment, and as well as add shipping to that particular transaction, all without leaving this module here. Now, I'm going to change screens here for just a second and give us an opportunity to take a look at one other screen here on the back end. And we'll have behind the scenes here that's doing all the heavy lifting. I'm going to bring over another screen for us to take a look at. You'll have Paya Exchange on the back end. Now, this is our system, our all-in-one payments platform network that's doing all the heavy lifting. So as you process your transactions real time through Sage 100, that information is flowing back here. Those transactions, that data, that information is flowing back here real time for you. What I can simply do is I can go into our batch management tab. I can launch. As long as I have access to the internet, I can come in here and I can take a look at these transactions without having to be there in the office. So if I go to my credit card tab here, I can see the transaction we've just processed through Hillsborough, and it collects the amount of the $19.99. We can view that transaction and get these details. Again, seeing the customer's information, the time and date of the transaction, the authorization amount, the status of that transaction. And again, I have the ability to export a receipt if I need to. But again, this is another solution, one of our add-on features that we have available that comes part of our package that gives you truly the ability to see the health and understand the health of your business without actually having to be there. So again, this is Paya Exchange. This works on the back end. As your transactions are flowing through your account, you have the ability to come in here, take a look at the different reporting options that are available, and real time those transactions are flowing through your merchant account through Sage 100. That information is landing back here, and you can certainly come back here, take a look at those transactions. Again, here's our Hillsborough transaction, and export that data if need be. So you have three convenient formats you could use, again, CSV, Excel, or PDF, and the ability to go in and view a transaction. Again, we can see it was Hillsborough. We can see the information surrounding the transaction as well as the amount. So again, this is one of the tools that you can certainly use on the back end. Again, this is Paya Exchange. This is one of the solutions that gives you that, again, that full flexibility. As long as you have access to the internet, you can log in here and take a look at this information and see those transactions as they're being processed. Let's go back to Sage 100 ERP. We've seen the sales order module. Let's take a look at the AR module. What can we do here? So there's a couple of other options that we have available in terms of processing your payment. So if once we go into AR, we can take a look at, let's do an invoice here. Let's just pull up an invoice. So we'll start there. So we'll select invoice data entry. Let's generate a new batch number. We'll accept. We'll accept that. That's fine. We'll find a customer. We'll go back to Hillsborough. We'll go to our Lines tab. And let's create a charge here. And this charge, let's call this charge here 35.55. And let's select an account for this particular transaction. We can go to our Payments tab again here. Now, in this case here, we'll do an ACH transaction. As I mentioned, as we speak about these transactions and being able to process these transactions within Sage 100, you have the flexibility of processing both either credit card, debit cards, or ACH transactions. So let's take a look at ACH in this case here. So we'll select ACH and we'll call this, actually, I think we have one that's already stored here. So yeah, so we have Barry. So we'll use Barry. So we can see Barry's name here. That's the payment ID, the payment type. So let's just use Barry. And as you can see, the billing information for Barry is brought over. Now, excuse me, one other thing here that I failed to mention the first go around, so my apologies, but the billing address that's associated with the payment, if you are not collecting the email address of your customers, it would be handy to do so by adding your customer's email address here or attaching it to your customer's record. When these transactions are being processed, a confirmation email would be sent to your customers. It's an optional solution, optional feature, but it gives a confirmation email just as soon as the transactions are being processed. So if you do enter a customer's payment information, in this case, I'll enter my email address here. When the transaction gets processed, a confirmation email is automatically sent. So again, simplifying things a little bit more for you. So as you process your payments for your customers, that information gets to them almost within seconds, and they'll have that peace of mind knowing the amount that was charged to the account. So we have the email address brought in. We have our amount of $35.55 here. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and submit. Now, as you can see, we're here in the upper left-hand corner. We're dealing with the vault here. So the recorded card or ACH information for this customer, the routing number, the account number is brought in for us automatically. We can see the type of an account here. It's a checking account. We'll hit cancel, and we're satisfied with that, and we'll hit accept. And now we've just successfully processed that transaction. Excuse me. As we get through to the end of our business day, we can go ahead and update our customers' records here. So if we go to our sales journal, we can see, again, there's our transaction for $35.55. We can check our box to proceed there. That's fine. Again, because we are in a demo environment, we'll alter these numbers here, this date for just a second. And that's fine. We'll go ahead and preview. And this will go ahead and bring up some reports. I'm just going to make this a little bit larger for the folks who need to be able to see that. As you can see, we have our cardholder's name, or the customer's name, I should say, the card number, the type of transaction, and the status of the transaction, as well as the amount. So if we go ahead and X out of here, we'll see a couple more reports here. I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with here, but we can see the GL account that the transactions will go to. We'll X out of here. That's fine. No, we're not going to print that either. And that successfully goes through. Now I'm going to draw up one other screen here for you to take a look at. And this is just a simple plain Jane version. I'll make that a little bit larger for you as well. So the transaction we've just processed, the ACH transaction, it's a little weird looking here, coming from me to me, but I just wanted to display the efficiency and how fast this gets out. Again, this is a plain Jane version, so you have the ability to customize what this email looks like, what this message looks like, the look and feel, but you can get the, as you can see, you have the amount of the transaction, the order number. You can place your business information here at the top as well. And again, you really have the ability to customize this, this message in a way that is most desirable there for your business. So we'll move this out of the way here. but that's us processing the payments directly here within Sage 100 ERP. And again, that's an accounts receivable transaction. The look and feel would be identical if I were to process that transaction as a credit card, with the exception of the routing number and the account number. We, of course, would have to enter the card number and expiration date. So that's the second option. That's the second form of integration that you have with our integration here with Paya and Sage 100. Let's take a look at the cash receipts. We also have an integration tucked away here as well. So if we click the cash receipts entry, we'll give that a second to populate. Again, we'll generate a new batch number. We'll accept. Let's generate a new deposit number. And in this case here, we'll do a $100 transaction. A credit card deposit, we'll accept. We'll go back in and we'll call up a customer. Back to Hillsborough. And let's generate a new entry number. So we have the entry number there. The amount that we received was $100. We'll go to our lines tab and we'll do a quick search. If you know or recall and have a good enough memory to recall the invoice number offhand, you can certainly enter that invoice number here and move forward at that point, or you can kind of cheat a little bit and use the lookup tool here. Once you select this little guy, this is going to pull up the open invoices for this customer. As you can see, I have 2 open invoices for this guy, invoice 18 and 25. We'll select 18. Now that we've made that selection here, invoice 18 is brought in. We have our invoice date, we have the invoice amount, and the amount that we're going to apply to this invoice. We'll go back to our payments tab. Or I'm sorry, our payments tab here. We have Tracy's card here on file. And at this point, we're going to use a different card. So we're going to clear this one again. And we'll select card. We'll do a new card here. So our billing information is brought in. Again, we can enter an email address here. The transaction amount is brought over for us as well. And we can submit the payment. Now in this case here, since this is a cash receipt, we have the notification that we're processing a cash transaction here. So we've seen the vault, we've seen the authorization, and now we see the sale option. As you can see, the reference number here, the cash receipt number is brought in. We'll enter in the card number. So in this case here, we're going to grab a card number, just drop that in. Now, before I leave this page here, so we've seen this page twice, but I want to call out something here. You do have the ability, based on the way that your account is structured, if swiping is something that swiping the customer's card there face-to-face is something that takes place there within your business, you do have the ability, we do have the ability to provide you with a swiping mechanism. So whether it be a terminal or a card reader that attaches to your workstation via USB connection, or an actual terminal, again, so that you can insert from an EMV standpoint, we have that capability of providing that type of solution as well. And if that were the case for your business there, we would enable the swipe card button here. So this button would be enabled and it would be orange just like the submit button here. For this demonstration purposes, I don't have that enabled, which is why it's not highlighted in orange. But for your case, if you do have a need for swiping a customer's card, certainly let Brad and the team know. We can certainly outsource that and help outfit the business with the proper card reader there for the business. But you do have the ability to key enter as well as swipe payments here. Again, we do have the expiration date here that we can go ahead and update. The security code, we can enter that information. And in the bottom left-hand corner here, you may have noticed we have a bit of a countdown going on. As I mentioned at the top of the call here, this is a PCI compliant environment that we operate within. So again, this window opens, this is our window, this is our secured environment here. You have 15 minutes to process the payment. For any reason, if you get distracted and the time lapses, the 15-minute lapses, the screen locks out and you'll have to restart the transaction. Again, this is a safety feature to protect you as well as your customer sensitive information, so that that information isn't exposed and left vulnerable. So you'll notice that counting down. Just want to make sure that you're aware of that. It does keep us all safe when processing these sensitive pieces of information. From here, we'll go ahead and submit. We'll go to our billing information. Now, I'm going to drag this over here for just a second, just so that we can take a peek back here. So in this window here, this is Sage 100, right? The billing information that's entered here is brought in automatically within our Sage Exchange window. So it's imperative that you enter in the appropriate information here, because once you get into your transaction, that billing information associated with that payment type, that information is going to be pulled in automatically. So this is where my email address comes in, the address information, that all pulls in here for you automatically. So take the time to make sure that this information is correct, and it makes life a lot easier for you on the back end. But as you can see, it's all brought in here for us, which is great. We'll hit submit at this point, and we can see again, this card has been authorized. We have a transaction ID, a time, a date, and we have our 6-digit approval code. So we can see that that transaction was successfully processed. And just to give you, again, an idea of the speed, here's a confirmation email. The transaction for $100. So it goes out very quickly, that cash receipt number and that 6-digit approval code. So it goes out pretty quickly. Again, this is an optional feature in terms of having that confirmation email go out, but it is very helpful for your customers to receive that confirmation before you hang up the phone, or if they're standing there in front of you. So with that being said, here we'll accept, and now we're ready to move forward with accepting the next transaction. So what we'll do here is I'm going to take us back to one other screen, and we'll go back to, and we'll refresh here. Paya Exchange. So we've just run quite a few transactions here, and we're back here within Paya Exchange, and we're under our reports tab. And if I go to my transaction settings here, again, as I mentioned, as transactions are flowing through your account, you have the ability to log in here and take a look at those transactions. As you can see, there's that $100 transaction that we've just processed. There's our ACH payment that we've just processed. And so we have our amounts here, and again, we can go in and take a look at these individually and open them up. We also have the capability of, again, exporting this information in these convenient formats. So this is all tucked away on the back end again for you, so that for those folks who are not in the office when the transactions are being processed, you still have some visibility into the transactions that are being processed. From here, we can also go into our batch management tab. And if we just want the particulars about that specific batch, we can go in again. We have that data here listed for us. So this is a very intuitive system. They work hand in hand, our systems here at Paya, and with Sage 100 ERP solution here. As you can see, the systems talk very quickly and exchange the information seamlessly, so that the dual entry, the human error, that element is minimized drastically by our integration here. Now, the setup, which we didn't talk about here, but I'll just kind of give you guys some pointers there about what that looks like. So here at Paya, we have a merchant readiness team, and we handhold the setup process. So we want to make sure that we walk you through configuring Sage 100 or any Sage product for that matter, set up that configuration appropriately so that you're able to process your payments adequately. So we have that process. So we walk you through the setup process. We walk you through the installation as well as some test transactions. So that way we don't just kind of kick you out of the airplane and hope the parachute opens. We're there along the way to make sure that the setup process takes place appropriately, and that you're satisfied and that you're happy with being able to process your payments. So these are the things that we offer, and we make sure that once those transactions are up and going, you're able to get in here and process these payments just as we intended, just as it was designed with Sage 100, seamless, fast, quick, error-free. You're able to process your payments very, very quickly here. As I mentioned, This is a PCI compliant environment, so we do what we can to make sure that all the PCI compliant security measures that need to be taken are taken on our end to make sure that you are satisfied and you're confident and feel secure processing your payments with us here at Paya. With that being said, that covers my portion of the demonstration here with us at Sage, with us here at Paya, and our integration with Sage 100 ERP. At this point, I think there's a chat box here. So if you have any questions, feel free, before I turn this back over to Shane, feel free to enter in your questions there. We're available to answer any questions that you have about our integration, our solutions, period. Feel free to ask those questions. Before I leave, I'd like to again thank you all for sharing this time with us, giving us the opportunity to share with you our wonderful and exciting integrations that we have here at Paya. And we look forward to offering and discussing further endeavors with you very soon. Shane, back to you.
Yeah, thanks again, Leon, for the presentation. Really appreciate that. Looks like we do have one question from one of the participants. So if you would like to answer that, Leon, how would you record a prepayment with using Paya?
Great question. Sorry about that. I was on mute there. Sorry about that. So depending on the environment in which you're operating the prepayment, we can walk through that and we can do a one-on-one offline if need be. But we can operate that within the sales order module. Simply, there's an area there where we can take the transactions as a deposit. So that way you can run through the sales order module if that's the module that you operate within. Or we can take that as a payment, we can take that as a payment at that time. So you have the ability within the sales order module to either select a transaction as a sale at that time, or you could pre-authorize it. Just depends on which environment, or if this person, again, if you're operating out of the AR module, might be slightly different there, but you do have that capability. But simply put, we could accept that payment as either a sales or a deposit up front within the sales order module.
Okay, thanks, Leon.
Sure.
Looks like we have a second question as well.
Are you able to, Shane, are you able to see that question there?
Yes. It's more of a statement question, I guess. So it says we have MRI and our customers authorize us for auto pay on the 15th of the month. I guess they are an existing Paya customer, and they're just wondering if there's any other suggestions that you have on how to handle their sales order process. So that might be one that we might want to take a deeper dive offline.
Right, and yes, and absolutely. So we can certainly do that. So we can certainly take a look at how this person is processing payments. If those are recurring payments, if that's something that we need to do through the periodic invoicing or repetitive invoicing feature within Sage 100, or if we need to look at other options, backup options there. But yeah, we can certainly take that one offline, and I'll be happy to kind of dive in, and we can get that sorted out and make best of their efforts there.
Okay, thanks, Leon.
Sure.
Let's see. Looks like that's all the questions that we have so far. So if there's no other questions, again, I want to thank all you guys for taking time out of your day to sit and go through the presentation with Brad and Leon, and hopefully you found this very beneficial. And then what we'll do, like I said at the top, we will send this recording out to each one of the attendees. And if you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to myself, and I'll be sure to get back with Brad and Leon any other questions. And if we need to do a deeper dive, we'll do that as well. So again, thank you very much. Again, really appreciate it on behalf of NewGen, on behalf of Paya, and everybody have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. Bye.